Hey plant lovers, welcome to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be talking about plants that I am not loving, plants that I kind of regret buying and why. So the first one is this Croton Petra, and I've actually had this plant I'd say for about 4 to 5 months and it's literally done nothing for me. It hasn't grown any new growth whatsoever, and weirdly it hasn't lost any leaves either. It's just stayed exactly like this. And I thought maybe it was a light problem, so I moved it into a higher light spot. It even gets some direct sun where I've put it. And I've also been fertilizing it. I don't know what to do. I really am at a loss with this plant. It does look like it's been trying to grow some new leaves in the middle there, but they just didn't happen. And I have no idea why. And to be honest with you, it's been such a long time now that this plant is doing nothing. I'm not really sure what to do. I'm kind of falling out of love with it. Of course, I've checked it for pests and I don't see any. I've been through it with my magnifying glass so many times. I do not know what's going on. I've even treated it for pests just in case, even though I haven't seen any. There's no damage to the leaves. As I say, it hasn't even lost a leaf. Every leaf is absolutely fine. And yeah, it just seems to be in stasis. It's doing nothing. And so, I guess I'm just feeling kind of annoyed with it, out of love with it, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't really care if this plant died at this point, because it really is just doing nothing. I have considered maybe propagating it in order to encourage growth, but even that doesn't really fill me with joy. I don't know, this plant has just become one of those plants that I'm thinking, please just die. Next is my Philodendron Barantianum, and this one, when I received it, it had aphids. I got rid of the aphids. Then it got mealybugs. I got rid of the mealybugs, and it is growing. It's not that it's not growing, and it is pest free as well. The thing with this one is, I don't know, it just looks really ratty to me. It does not bring me any joy to look at it. It looks kind of scraggly, and yeah, it's just not making me happy to look at it. Don't get me wrong, I am still caring for it, and I'm kind of hoping that I might fall in love with it as it grows. I think out of all the plants on this list, this one has some potential for me to possibly love it again if it grows well. But at the moment, I'm not really feeling it. But I'm not wishing this one to come to an end, so that's a step up on the last one. But yeah, it's just not doing it for me. It just looks kind of sad to me, and yeah, maybe it's because it needs something to climb and that would make it look nicer, but at the moment I'm just kind of happy that it's free of pests finally, and I'm just happy to just leave it be. So yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. Maybe I'll fall in love with it again. It has happened before where I don't really like a plant and then I end up loving it, so you never know. I shall keep you posted. The next plant I don't actually have anymore. It is my Philodendron Birkin, and I did have this plant for a couple of years, I think, and when I first got this plant I absolutely loved it, and I'd say probably about 6 to 12 months after getting it I started to fall out of love with it. It started to kind of get really white leaves, and the white leaves would just turn to mush and go brown, and it would also grow really slowly too, so that kind of slowed down the growth. The losing of the white leaves slowed down the growth, and so probably about a few months or so ago, maybe 6 months ago, I decided to chop and prop this plant to see if I could encourage some growth, and it did start growing, and I did actually plant the propagations back into the pot, and not long after I did that, I almost thought maybe I'm starting to fall in love with this plant again. Then it got thrips, and honestly all the leaves started going yellow, it got thrips, and I just could not be bothered to save this plant. I did not have it in me to save this plant. I didn't love it anymore. I decided that's it, it's going. So I just chucked it in the bin, and that's it. I will never buy a philodendron Birkin again, never ever. I just think it's an awful plant overall after my 2-year plus experience. No thank you, never again. Next is my Aphelandra squarosa, also known as the zebra plant, and this has got a similar story to the philodendron Birkin, although it's slightly different in that I do actually still love the look of this plant. I really do. I think it's a really beautiful plant, but this plant has given me no end of trouble. When I first got it, it was fine for a while. Then one time I didn't water it in time and all the leaves started dropping off and it started going brown. Literally one time I didn't water it in time. And so, yeah, I had to kind of wait for the growth to come back in. And when it started coming back in, it did actually look really nice. And I thought, yeah, this is it. This plant is a winner for me again. Then it started going droopy because I assumed because it was getting too much sun. So I moved it into a lower sun area. Then it stopped growing because it wasn't getting as much sun. And I just thought to myself, what am I supposed to do with you then? And yeah, this plant was just so fussy. You needed to stay on top of the watering all the time. You had to hover over it, making sure that it was just perfect. And yeah, then it just stopped growing. And then I noticed some of the leaves started going kind of brown and a bit odd. So I looked and it had thrips. And I just thought to myself, you know what? I'm done. And that one went in the bin as well. I just couldn't even be bothered to save it, same with the philodendron Birkin. But unlike the philodendron Birkin, I do actually still like the look of this one to look at. It's just way too fussy for me. I mean, I don't mind a plant that needs a little extra care, but this one was just fuss. And so for that reason, I would not buy it again. Definitely wouldn't recommend it to beginners. As I say, I do like the look of it, but no, it's not for me. Too much fuss. So the next plant is the Tradescantia Nanook, and I actually did love this one for quite a while actually, probably at least 12 months. I had a good run with it, I really enjoyed it. I found it really easy to care for. And then it started just going really brown and ratty, and yeah, it looked really leggy, and the solution to this is to chop and prop it. It is known for getting kind of leggy and for getting brown leaves. So I did, I chopped and propped it. And I'd previously had success chopping and propping, but on this occasion, they all rotted and the original plant just, I don't know, I just could not be bothered with it. I just fell out of love with it. I felt like it was too much fuss and I got rid of that one too. And since then I have actually got some other types of Tradescantia, the Zebrina, the Purple Passion, and so far I'm loving those. I hope that continues, but we'll see. You know, Tradescantia Nanook, it's a beautiful colour and I really do love the colours in it. But yeah, it's just not for me because I really like plants that don't require a lot of fuss. If I'm having to constantly chop and prop or constantly do stuff to it, I'm not too keen. So, you know, I don't mind slightly difficult plants like alocasias that might need a little extra attention with the watering and stuff. But yeah, this one just, no, not for me. So I probably wouldn't buy it again. I will admit that I do often see it in garden centres and think, oh, that's really pretty. And then I think, well, wait a minute, you don't want to repeat that experience, so I don't bother with it. So those are my plants that I regret buying. I would love to know what yours are. Please let me know in the comments because we're all going to have different experiences, and I'm willing to bet that many plants on this list, there's some of you out there that get on really well with these plants. And vice versa, there's probably ones that you really hate that I love, and that's why this is such a fun hobby. There's a variety and we're all different. So let me know in the comments what your regretful plants are and why. And yeah, thanks for watching today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. I sure did. It's nice to vent about some of the plants that I absolutely despise. And yeah, until next time, guys, look after your plants and look after yourself.